Good afternoon. My name is Officer Will Harris from the Port St. Lucie Police Department. I am a police canine handler for the city of Port St. Lucie. I've been a handler for 15 years. Currently, the Port St. Lucie Police Department K-9 unit has 5 canine teams, which consist of 4 narcotics and patrol certified teams and 1 explosive detection and patrol certified teams. We use the dog for everything from tracking a suspect and locating that suspect to deterring a suspect from running in the first place. The first exercise we're going to show is an article search, which is when a dog uses the latent human scent that's left behind on a material object to locate that object for evidentiary purposes. And then we're going to demonstrate a tracking scenario where the dog is going to follow a trail of human scent left behind from a subject to where that subject is actually hiding.
So I'm going to let them off. I'm going to tell them to search this area. The article that we're looking for is not in this area, but what I'm trying to do is get him ready to work. Now I'm going to gradually walk into the area that I know where it's at. Good. Check. Good check. Good. Here. Report. Good. Off. Good. A port. Good boy. Good. Show me. Where's it at? Where's it at? Ooh, good boy. What happened is the dog worked the wind to his advantage. If you saw him going back and forth, we call that ping-ponging into the scent, moving upstream to where the odor is more available, and he pinpointed where it's at. So I'm gonna go up to him now and pay him. Woo, that's a boy, that's so good.
So right now we have a decoy who pulled up a truck and fled from the vehicle. So this would be more like if it was a vehicle pursuit and the suspect bailed from the vehicle. And now road patrol units would be setting a perimeter because we know he's somewhere close, and they're right now requesting K-9. Myself and K-9 Jaxson will arrive at this vehicle and deploy, and we'll be demonstrating tracking. So we'll be showing you what the dog does with the tracking a suspect who is actively fleeing and hiding. This little tracker that's actually linked to our computer system that all the computers, every officer has this tracking system built into their computer. So when you're on calls and stuff like that, you can see exactly where every officer is in the city. Our canines have them attached to their harness. Every officer that's on the perimeter will be able to see exactly where we're at. And so when we come into contact with the suspect, they'll know, instead of us giving our location, dispatch or another unit that's watching will be able to say, hey, they're right here, and bring units to us and get us back up. Port St. Lucie Police K-9, let me see your hands.
Our dogs are selected and purchased from Metro-Dade K-9 down in Miami. The dogs come via the Czech Republic or Slovakia. Typically, they're imported to the country. When we go down and evaluate the dogs, they are usually green, meaning that they've had a little bit of bite development and very little else, very little human contact and socialization. We select the dog based upon a variety of tests. When the dogs are selected and purchased, they come back to the city of Port St. Lucie, where we put them through an approximately 500-hour academy, where the dogs are taught all their patrol disciplines. And then they have an additional time added to that school where they learn their secondary discipline, which would be the narcotics or explosive detection. We're required to a minimum obligation of 5 years of service or 5 years commitment to work a particular dog, barring any health reasons that may prohibit them from working. After that 5-year period, their health is evaluated pretty regularly, and as long as the health of the dog does not create a dangerous situation for the handler or for the dog team, they can stay in service, some of them as long as 9-10 years old. All of the dogs, when they're in service, do go home with the handler. We spend a lot of times with the dogs. We often joke that it's the only 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week, 365-day-a-year job in law enforcement. But the dogs do live at home with us and our family. They get assimilated into our families. And then after the dogs retire, the handlers have the option to retire the dog to the house to become a family pet to live out the rest of its days, which all of our handlers that I know of so far have chosen to keep each of their retired dogs. We typically stick with the shepherding breed of dog. Their size, they're a medium to large size dog, but they're still agile in their build. Being selected for K-9 is kind of a long process in that we're required to have at least 3 years aggregate service between prior experience or 3 years with the Port St. Lucie Police Department before we can apply. We encourage members of the police department that have an interest in K-9 to come out as regular as possible to volunteer to help us decoy and things like that so they can see how involved it is, and so they can also see what it's like from the experience of other handlers, what it is like to assimilate a working dog into the household. It is a long-term commitment, but it's definitely worthwhile, and it's, I believe, the best experience in law enforcement.